everybody. We're in chill mode today because Remy Boy is asleep right behind me in his little bed, and I'm hoping he doesn't move. There he is. Oh my gosh. There he is, sleeping in his little bed. Yeah, buddy. So we're in chill mode. I got the lights down. And for those that showed up early, they got that little sneak peek of the Grem. And now my wife is in her side of the garage doing work, and I'm hoping he stays chilling. Usually, if he can sense that um, we're not concerned with him, that like we're doing our own thing, then he's chill. He just doesn't like it if we're putting too much attention on him. So I'll see if I can give y'all another sneak peek in a little bit. How's everybody doing this week? Hello, Mr. the Dude, Dan. What's weird? How dark it is? This is the chill zone today. Also, for some reason, I have had a huge headache today, and I don't know why. Hubie. Feel free to let everybody in chat know why we're in the chill mode today. I'm going to try to show Grammy again in a minute, but think about how far we've come, right? Chilling with the Grammy, it's that kind of Friday. I've had ibuprofen already. Stress headache, maybe. I don't know. I've been off coffee for my acid reflux. I've been doing matcha tea instead. And I will say, I think it's like a more consistent buzz from the caffeine, but you don't quite get that like pop, If anybody was wondering, we're in the chill zone today because Grammy Boy is sleeping behind me. I'll try to show him again. There he is in his little bed. That's the Graham. Sleeping. Think about that. Think about how far we have come. Where he was a cat in a wall, and now he's chilling behind me on the live stream in his little bed. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. Yeah, Nate, you gotta whisper. You be Halloween. So everybody keep it real chill. I'm not trying to blow up his spot. Foster fail? No, not necessarily. He's just still not in, good enough shape to adopt out. He comes out, he eats, he sleeps. He came out while I was working at my desk the other day and just sat down right next to the desk. So he'll do whatever he wants to do. But if you try to touch him or reach out to him, he hisses, he swipes, he doesn't like it. So I think we're in this kind of middle zone, this transition. We're not where we used to be. We're in this new era where he's coming out. Obviously, if he's sleeping behind me in his bed, that's a massive improvement. No crate. He's just got his bed. He just lives in here. He's got this bachelor pad, but you still can't touch him. You can't pet him. He'll get this close to me though. I feed him liquid treats out of a spoon, and he eats it right here. And if I put treats right on the ground in front of me, he eats them right at my feet. But if you try to reach out, he freaks out. So, will he be a foster fail? We'll see. I don't know. If he could get friendly enough to where I would trust that he could be adopted by someone, I would adopt him out. But, it's taken him a while to even get to this level with me. I love how much he just ignores. I could just talk. This is what's so funny is it was just like during the Kickstarter, except now he's not in the wall. He's right behind me, but he'll sit through me yapping. it's got to be like a sound machine to him at this point. It's got to be white noise for Remy Boy to live through me going on and on and on about something. So, well, all right. I might do a shorter stream today just because of my headache. And that's it, really, just because of my headache. And, because we're trying to keep it chill for Grammy. It's so hard because I'm so obsessed with him, though. When I give him the treats, I want to touch him. I want to reach out and just give him a pet, but I know he'll freak out. He's just still not there. So there's not much new to report. Other than the fact that I did get my script down to 100 pages even. So I think last week I was at 108. And now today I just finished. I got it to 101, but I know that tomorrow when I clean it up, it'll get down to 100. And we got toys. Oh, Justin, we got toys. Oh, and we talked to him all day. I mean, this cat's gone from, it's like we rehabbed a Wolverine. I don't even know that we rehabbed a feral cat. Yeah, he could just be my cat, right? Find that sweet spot where he likes to be pet. That sweet spot doesn't exist right now. So CT, yeah, normally the screen time is a page per minute. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if you think about how fast Onyx talks, if this 100-page script is like 80 minutes long, just because typed Onyx dialogue can take up a page, but there's no way that it's going to take a minute to get through because he talks so fast. But you can't count on that, so you still got to assume it's a page per minute. Someone asked, what else did I cut? It's really hard to say at this point because, oh, no, it's not. No. Okay, so if anyone remembers the original version of the script, there's 3 rituals, and then there's the 4th ritual, which is the Abaddon Rising ritual. That's the big one, right? It's the Book of Blood ritual, the Black Mirrors ritual, the Box Demon, and then the ritual of Abaddon Rising. I cut the mirror ritual, the Black Mirror ritual. And if anybody remembers, what happens during the Black Mirror ritual is that Onyx is sneaking off in the walls to find the missing page of the grimoire that has the prophecy on it that foretells the fortuitous one coming. So it caused a surprising amount of problems. You'd think, yeah, just take out the Black Mirror ritual, right? But then you've got everything on either side of that now meeting. And what's on the other side of that are things that can't meet. It's them finding the prophecy, and it's the prophecy already being explained and ready to move into the final act. So it caused a new scene to need to be written. It caused some scenes on either side to be cut. So there's one less Farah and Bartok scene. But the Mag Daddy beefy script, yeah, 120. Dude, I think the draft we read on the live read was 128 pages. I can check my emails. I actually should. I'm curious to know how long the original draft was. Here, I'll give you guys another little peek. Hey, bud. You chilling? That's a chill-ass Grammy. These are all your fans, buddy. They're here for you, not for me. Oh, my gosh. Retro Bones. I don't know that you can upgrade or change your pledge now. I don't know if you can. Release the script as a novelization. Yeah, that would be fun. It'd be really fun to release it as a graphic novel. Unfortunately, you can't watch the live reading. The actors that agreed to be in the live reading, they only agreed to be in it if it went private after the Kickstarter wrapped. Oh, so let me look at my email. I want to see the length. Oh, yeah, I can tell you what I figured out for the Bartok scene. That's a good idea, because that's what we were discussing last week. But let me just see how long this draft was. Hold on. New draft. Okay, Onyx live read. Dude, this is going to be such a long draft. 130 pages. I had 130 page. Oh my gosh. It was 130 pages. Okay, so me and Grammy are not, well, I'd say we're friends, but he won't let me pet him. He'll come out and sleep, and he'll come out and eat. He'll eat treats. I feed him treats in a spoon. I throw treats, and he comes up to me. But he will not let me pet him. Okay, so what we were talking about last week was the fact that I was rewriting the Bartok introduction scene to be less expensive because it involved blood effects, special effects of multiple kinds. Yes, Cal, I'm currently happy with the script, even with cutting stuff. I think there's a misconception on like cutting things. I think there's this idea that a director's cut is always the long, fat version. And I can see that, but there's plenty of who was it recently I saw say this? They were like, the director's cut is the one that came out in theaters. They were very happy the shorter it got. Because you're also like, everybody that read the script, even the 122 page version, they would say, so fun. Oh my God, what a blast. But it is long. You know, there was always this quantifier of loved it, but it is long. So it's like, if you get the script to a shape that is more expected, 100 pages, 90 something pages, it's, I'm not saying it won't be criticized, but it will be criticized less. It definitely won't be criticized for the length. So the shorter it gets, the happier I am, especially because I'm cutting it with story in mind. I think if you went into the shoot with a 122 page script and on the day realized you had to cut stuff, that's when you get something feeling awkward and misshapen. But and my line producer was saying this, she was like, I'd like to see you cut it now so that you still have time to wrap your mind around correcting for the shape, because you're going to lose things as you cut and it's going to get wonky, and then you're going to need to build it back out to give it the right shape. And I think that's the difficult thing, is you don't just hack and slash. You hack and slash to get the pages down. Then you read and you see, well, now what happens too quickly? What happens too soon? Perfect example. Well, okay, so here's what two things. Fortuitous One Prophecy and then Bartok introduction. Let me talk Bartok introduction first. And then don't let me forget I was going to talk about the Fortuitous One Prophecy. This is the scrawny scripty. Yeah. This is the Thinman. This is Johnny Thinman. Bartok, they walk in. He's dead on the ground. They freak out. Mr. Duke rolls him over. He's definitely dead. Knife in the chest. And then a TV turns on, because there's this bank of TVs that are utilized in the movie. One is for the Kickstarter backers to have their cameos. But it's also because in Witches of Eastwick, there was this like bank of TVs. I just like having old televisions and stuff. Not like in a poltergeist way, but in like a Gremlins 2 kind of way, like security monitors and closed circuit televisions. I love that. Witches of Eastwick, all the closed circuit televisions, fucking, I don't know why, I just fucking live for it. Okay, so he's dead. They all react. Mr. Duke rolls him over. The knife is sticking out of his chest, and then the TV pops on, and it's Bartok. And he says, welcome. I'm dead. Dead as a doornail. Go ahead. You can check my pulse. Mr. Duke checks it, nods his head. You know, he's dead. And then from the TV, Bartok says, my followers, this is your first test, a test of faith. Your leader has fallen, but does that mean your faith has also? And he leads them in this chant of, let him rise, let him rise, let him rise. And as they chant that, they feel silly at first. They don't all join in. Shelley's the first one to join in. And as he does that chant, he comes to life, stands up, pulls the knife out of his chest, and then starts introducing kind of each of the characters to us. So that's kind of an amalgam of everyone's ideas from last week. I didn't do the echoing around the room like Phantom of the Opera, but somebody said that he should already be dead when they get there. It's nice because it's easier to shoot, but it still has like a little horror movie vibe. I'm real happy with that. And here's a rule I've kept for myself. This is a good campfire tale. Here's a rule I've kept for myself. Any of these rewrites, if I don't immediately hear what the characters would say, then it's not a good choice. But whenever I've dug in and tweaked, and it's actually opened up the characters and they start talking, then I know it's good. It's at least the right correction to make. Because I rewrote another scene this week. This is really difficult to explain, but since I removed the Black Mirror ritual, now there's Book of Blood, Box Demon, and Abaddon Rising. So it's during the Box Demon ritual that Onyx goes and sneaks off to find the missing page. But the Box Demon ritual, you can't really intercut, because Onyx, what he experiences in the Box Demon ritual is very serious. And he's sent into his flashback, and he's really deconstructed. But you can intercut everybody else going into the Box Demon room. So it sounds so tedious, but it's just a restructuring of how you present that scene. They're all in line, going in the room one by one, and they come out and they're crying. We never see what happened in that room, but we see that when they come out, they're destroyed. What's up, Marty? So what's also nice is then that heightens the stakes of what's going on in that room, right? Onyx is hold on, my wife's texting me. So Onyx is off sneaking around while everyone's going in, coming out crying, going in, coming out crying. He's sneaking around, they come out crying, and then he gets back just in time to go in and do the Box Demon ritual himself. And I wrote something that made me laugh. He goes into the walls, and if anybody remembers the long script, every time he goes through the walls, he gets cobwebs in his mouth. And so he's always like, fucking cobwebs, goddamn. But I have him doing that as he goes to Bartok's study. He gets the page. And then as he's coming back, he gets cobwebs in his mouth. And he's like, are you telling me that these spiders rebuilt their webs between the last time I ran through and now? God damn. And that made me laugh. Just the idea that, he's so annoyed at the reality of it. Like, are you telling me these spiders rebuilt their webs? Anyway, so it's like, if an idea like that comes when you're rewriting, you feel good. Also, because we see everybody go into the Box Demon room one by one, and we stay on the outside, I wrote this really funny moment where Shelley goes in, and we're on the outside, but we hear her just wailing. And the actress who's playing Shelley, I know they'll be able to do so much with that. I purposely didn't script it. I just said, Shelley goes into the room. We hear her wail, scream, and cry out specifics. And so I know it makes me think of that scene in Dirty Work where they're listening to those guys and they're like, oh no, he took my gun and then he's using it on me. Ah! I just imagine her in that room screaming and wailing and everybody outside being like, oh, and then eventually her being like, oh my God, it's destroying me. Oh, my heart is breaking. And we're all outside like, just uncomfortably waiting for our turn. So when you go to restructure a scene and you find jokes, then then you feel good about the rewrite. There was one joke that I loved in the Black Mirror scene. So the Black Mirror scene has no jokes. It's all about them throwing a rock at a mirror that reflects something about their former life. And so they see their relatives, they see their job, they see themselves, because they need to like divorce themselves from themselves to be fully given over to Bartok. And the joke is that it's very difficult for everybody. And then Onyx shows up from sneaking around the walls, and the image reflected in the mirror is Todd. And Onyx just fucking throws his rock and trashes the mirror immediately. And he's like, "So is that it for the second ritual then? We good?" I love that joke. I mean, I love a long setup for a real quick payoff that hopefully is like a big payoff as far as LOLs go. But you know, that scene is gone, so that joke is gone. It's hard to lose jokes that you really like. Of course, I'm fixating on this too, you know. Um, yeah, Ian, exactly like that. He's killing me. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Jay, when you came up with the idea, did you consider having Bartok as a charlatan who fakes the supernatural? No, I never thought that. I don't know what it is. I never. It's like in Little Willie. I don't ever intend in the feature version. I don't intend for anyone to ever think the doll is alive. Like I'm always just trying to say, no, the doll's not alive. This guy's crazy. I just like it being a little more straightforward. I don't know. There's a. I'm listening now. I'm listening to this book about Back to the Future, and I fucking hate to pat myself on the back, but like as I'm listening to the way Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis think about story, I relate to it a lot. And I wonder if it's even because of growing up on their films. I never realized that like Zemeckis, oh, don't let me forget to talk about the fortuitous one, Prophecy. I never knew that Back to the Future was criticized for the length of its exposition, the length of its buildup, because I think it's so celebrated that you just forget what criticism may have been around at the time. But they were really criticized for how much they build out in the beginning. And then once it fucking kicks off, you realize you're paying off all of it. And I like structuring things that way. I mean, you think, why are we at the meat hut? All of that pays off. Why are we meeting Todd and Nancy? All of that pays off. I really like building a reality and then like triggering the adventure when you feel like you've got enough knowledge of the world and you've informed the reality to a believable degree. Then you launch people off into the adventure. And you know, this is going to make me sound like a real fucking dum-dum, but I had somebody read the script and say, you know, if your audience gets ahead of you, you're dead. And right now, I don't see any surprises for the audience. And I was like, fuck, dude. I took his word to be gospel truth, just because I'm that type of person. When I get criticized, I usually attune myself to others. I'm a lot of times I'm like, what's that? What I do? You're probably right. I probably am a fuck up. Got it. And that's why I like creating, because normally I actually am safe from that kind of attunement. I'm very affirmed in what I believe. But these notes really got to me, if you remember, a couple weeks ago. But so one of the things that guy said was that like your audience is getting ahead of the characters. That's death for story, you know, and he said it so concretely. And I was like, oh, fuck. But I was like, but why is it my instinct to let the audience know what's coming? And I was like, why do I like doing that? That's my instinct. My instinct is to have Bartok say to Farah, I can't kill you, but I will cut off your head and keep it in a glass case for all eternity. He says that because he's going to get his head cut off. I like that. I like in that moment for the audience to know that might be foreshadowing and for the characters to not. But I was in my head about this guy's notes. And again, not trying to compare the Onyx movie to Back to the Future. But then I listened to this book and they're like, one thing Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis are solid on is making sure their audience is always ahead of the characters. It's called dramatic irony. And I was like, am I a fucking child that I didn't know how to defend myself against that note? If anybody doesn't know what dramatic irony is, I mean, it's a term that's been around since the dawn of storytelling. And it's when a character might predict their fate, or the outcome of a situation they're in without knowing it. But specifically, the audience knows it. So why am I attracted to that? Because it's a fucking fundamental of certain forms of storytelling. I mean, Jesus Christ. And I fucking spiraled about those notes for weeks. And all I had to do was sit and think. This goes against my instincts, you know? Sit down and watch Back to the Future, dude. Are there any surprises? Think about it. Are there any surprises? Do you know what I mean? Hey, guess what? He gets back to the future. Hey, guess what? The movie opens with somebody yelling about the clock tower, and the finale takes place at the clock tower. Hey, guess what? Doc Brown is an inventor. He created time travel, and Marty has to link up with him to figure it the fuck out. That's what they say it's going to be. That's what it is. The fun is the fucking adventure and watching them figure it out. And so, yeah, the surprise is that he almost hooks up with his mom. The surprise is that his mom is like not the restricted, buttoned up person she is. I don't consider those to be plot twists, though. That's just good, character. But I guess I'm just talking about the form, the shape of the thing. When you think about Back to the Future, it's not a movie concerned with twists. It's not a movie concerned with misdirects. It's not a movie concerned with mystery, And I've always said the Onyx movie is an adventure horror film. And I do think it aligns more with the spirit of movies like that, Anyway, I just thought that was so fucking funny. I'm sitting here like, how did I fuck up my script so bad? And then, Edgar Wright and dramatic irony. I don't know. I think that's a different tone because his movies are almost like meta storytelling. They're almost outside of the narrative in a weird way, Yeah, Ghostbusters 2. It's kind of a straight shot. I'm so confused on the new Ghostbusters trailer. We can talk about that too. Fortuitous One Prophecy. Dramatic irony. I mean, Jesus Christ. I need to fucking know myself better. I mean, they do a lot of the things that I try to do. In the opening scene of Back to the Future, you see Harold Lloyd hanging off the clock tower. They put these little Easter eggs in so you know what's coming in a way, or once you see how it fits together, you feel like you were in on it, So, okay, Onyx and the Fortuitous One Prophecy. So this is a problem I found when I did this rewrite. And I know this will be hard to explain because I know everybody doesn't know the script as well as I do because I read it every day. But in the old draft, they reveal that the prophecy is about the unforeseen one. No, the infamous one. The unexpected one. No, the prophecy of the fortuitous one. And Onyx is like, what? And Mac is like, what? And then there's a whole scene after that where Mac is like, Onyx, do you think you could be the fortuitous one? And he's like, I don't know. I don't think so. All I feel is fear and dread. And then they're taken to the box demon ritual. And then he goes on the box demon ritual. From there, gets drunk, has a nightmare. In the nightmare, Abaddon says, you are not the fortuitous one. But so from the time he hears that the prophecy is called the prophecy of the fortuitous one, and the time he's in a nightmare where Abaddon is telling him, you are not the fortuitous one, you have a couple scenes of contemplation around it. And then you have a couple scenes that kind of break up just the space. So you think well, all right, Onyx has had this information for 4 scenes. Then he goes into this nightmare. where he's got to confront whether or not he is the fortuitous one, right? The way I rewrote it, he learns he's the fortuitous one right before he gets drunk and has that nightmare, because the mirror scene is gone. So it moved everything to be right here. So I wrote a version where they're like, Onyx, the prophecy talks about the fortuitous one. And he's like, oh yeah, fuck, sure, whatever. Go. Gets drunk, goes into his nightmare, and Abaddon's like, you are not the fortuitous one. And it's like, well, yeah, I don't think Onyx is even thinking about it. He just heard that that's what the prophecy is even about. You know what I mean? There wasn't time for him to like digest it and for it to actually feel like it was even worked into his cognizance on any level. And so I rewrote it literally up until 6 o'clock today. Hold on one second. Let me write down another idea. But I rewrote it. Oh, so Anthony, the fortuitous one, the muscular guy, it's seen as a painting now. It's not seen as a physical guy. It's seen as like a Conan the Barbarian Beastmaster style oil painting hung on the wall in the meat hut. And I have a rough draft of that painting. I can show you. Hold on. I don't think the artist would mind me showing you a rough draft. Okay, let's see if you can see it. Let's see if it focuses. Can you see it? Let me know if you can see it. Can you see it? Let me know if you can see it. You know, when I show you guys something on camera, then I can't see you. Is the movie still getting made? Yeah, it better be. We're fucking making creatures. Okay, so could you see it? So that's the artist who did the poster, you know? Oh, was it blurry? Ah, fuck. It's a rough, just meaning that it's not fully colored. It's not completely done. Heavy Metal Army of Darkness. Yeah. The Frank Frazetta. So basically, I rewrote it where he learned about the fortuitous one and then just immediately gets drunk, and it didn't work. Like my buddy Brendan, who is a producer on this, was like, you know, that's kind of the moment of revelation. Like they all need to be like, what? And Onyx needs to be like, what? I mean, it needs to sink in. So I dug back in this afternoon and I just moved. It's so hard to explain, but I have him come out of the demon box room, ready to get drunk. Mac is like, we got to go talk to Mr. Duke. He's working on the prophecy. And Onyx is like, oh yeah, sounds good. I love prophecies. I fucking want, let me just grab this real quick. And he gets the absinthe. And then they're up in the room with Mr. Duke. And Onyx is getting increasingly more and more drunk while they're working on the prophecy. So it makes for an interesting, I think it works that he's in this height. He's already vulnerable because the demon has told him he's nothing and that his dad left him because he wasn't enough to keep him there. So he's in this vulnerable place. That's why he's getting drunk. And then in that place where he feels like I'm a piece of shit, he learns that the prophecy is called the prophecy of the fortuitous one. And Mac is like, Onyx, what did you call yourself when we first met? And he's like, huh? Oh, I said Onyx, the fortunate one, because I'm so fortunate to have won this contest and be here with all of you wonderful people. Mac's like, uh-huh. So I think it lands. Then he goes downstairs and gets drunk and has the nightmare where Farah tries to tell him he is the fortuitous one, and Abaddon shows up and says, no, you are not the fortuitous one. I think it's enough room. It still happens close to the nightmare, but it happens with this little breathing room instead of it being like this. I'm not going to voice the box demon. I want some voice actors to voice the box demon. And yes, Demi, it is an Onyx origin story. Is the movie done yet? No. What? No. We shoot the movie in 3 months. Oops. Sorry, bud. The drink is magical. The absinthe that he drinks is anything green in the movie is connected to Farah, the succubus. Her hair is green. I know in the poster it's pink, but we decided it's green because the absinthe is green. Is the virgin scene cut yet? No. Nate, you mean the book where everybody finds out there's something special and Onyx finds out he's a virgin? Is that the scene you mean? No, that scene is still intact. It's cut in half, but it's still intact. Yeah, there's certain like immovable things. And, that's one of the immovable things is like, you got to have that joke because that ties into the themes of the movie. So the whole movie is a nightmare, and you end it with Doc Brown showing up with a time machine, talking about going back in time to close the Kickstarter down, preventing the funding for the movie. No, that's a horrible idea. That's terrifying. I know the fortunate one because then maybe it's more like he's still down on himself. That is what he said. That is what he says. He says, no, I called myself Onyx the Fortunate. That is what I said. No, Nate, Onyx gets drunk because he is sent into a flashback by the box demon who shows him when he was a child, his father leaving, and Onyx starting to say, I don't know, for the first time. And that's what makes him get drunk, is the fact that the box demon is like, he left because you weren't enough. You never were. You couldn't keep them together. You couldn't keep him there. Will the script be the MVP of this movie? I think every aspect of this is going to be the MVP. The script, the art, the character design, the cast, the Onyx of it all, the DP, the location, all of it's going to be MVP. This is the kind of movie that has to have everybody operating at an MVP level. Hey, thank you, the Cool Table. Thank you. There's no YouTube character cameos. Sweb, you thought Onyx was always drunk? No, that's not the case. Yeah. Any other questions about what I explained or anything else? Want to see Remy Boy again? Oh yeah, new Ghostbusters. Haven't watched Pig yet. I've watched all of those Tremors Lost tapes. Love them. Thank you, Bernard. Oh, somebody said, will I be memorizing lines? Yeah, but it's already all memorized. If I've written something, it's memorized. You know what I mean? Because it's in there. So I usually can memorize on the day. Is Gadget Hack Wrench is Gadget Hack Wrench in? Oh yeah, Hunter, the lawyer said early on that it would be okay to do Gadget Hack Wrench as a cosplay because it's transformative. It's parody for sure. Am I gonna watch Suicide Squad? Yeah, eventually. Okay, Donald, backer rewards are, I told you guys that I'd start getting stuff out in July and I have not. I'm sorry, but it should be soon. To be honest, I've been so overwhelmed with pre-production that my day is the script and pre-production all day long. So, but don't worry, we are not going to ignore the backers. Did you work out the magical meeting when they get to the mansion? I did. I talked about it at the top of the stream. So just in the interest of not being redundant for people that have been here the whole time, I won't retell the stories that I've already told. Yeah, QAB Andyman, I do have somebody for the rewards, and they're helping me. I need to meet Channel Zero. I watched The Dream Door. Yeah. Okay, the Ghostbusters trailer. I guess basically expect to reveal any of the cuts, ideas, or scenes later on and try to mourn cuts from stories not all created equal, so more time. I don't know how you'll ever know what scenes were cut. If they're filmed, they'll be in deleted scenes, like especially on the Blu-ray, the backers will get. But if scenes are cut at the script stage, I don't know how you'll ever know. Oh, Grammy just ran out of his little bed. The Ghostbusters trailer was weird to me because as a standalone trailer and as a trailer for a movie, I thought it was cool in ways, right? But I guess what's so interesting to me, and this is a question, no, Mr. Dude, I can't give you any hints because, I mean, not to be dramatic, but here's how. So you send the script out to actors and you say, first, we're just checking availability. And then you get everyone who's available. Then, well, no, sorry, let me take it back. First, the casting director just checks on avails. They just say, who's available, who's available. You find out, okay, Keith David's doing Broadway at that time, right? So he's not even an option. You find out so-and-so is available. And then you send them the script. And if they read the script and like it, then a lot of times they'll have a conversation with me. And then they may agree to do it. But even if they agree to do it, we have everybody that we need. They have agreed to do the film. But what follows is the deal. And every day you get thoughts from the managers and agents, and then you get responses from my producer, and thoughts from the agents and managers, and then responses from my producer. And the stage we're at right now, we have 2 of the 5 signed on. That means their deal memo is in place. They're on board. I could announce them if I wanted to, but I'd like to wait until all 5 are on board. The other 3 are still negotiating. So, it's just, you don't want to say they're on board because at any point, whether it be the rate that we're offering them, whether it be the length of time that the commitment is, for instance, somebody might have said, so-and-so is very interested in this. It's a yes for them if they only need to be there for 2 weeks and you have them at 3. So do we rearrange the schedule, or do we say we need them for 3? Then they move on. Or, hey, they're very interested. This is a yes for my client if you up their rate by this much. Okay, well, if we up their rate by that much, what does it do to our budget? Can we still afford to make the movie? It's a constant push and pull locking in these deals. So, yeah, you can't announce until deals are actually in place. Oh, somebody said they had an idea about the Black Mirror scene. Oh, for sure, share it. But I did already cut the scene. Zella Maisel. Oh, what about Zella Maisel? Wouldn't that be a decision? Can you imagine QAB Andaman? I never know how to say your name. Can you imagine if I was just like, all right, fuck it, I'm playing every character? Have I made movies before? I've made 3 feature films. I've made, I think, something like 25 short films, and I've made, I think, 200 sketches, music videos, call them whatever you want. I've made a lot of things. I don't know why Remy Boy went back into his little hiding spot. While Onyx is out skulking around between the walls, he accidentally stumbles upon the mirror ritual. He gets a cobweb stuck in his mouth and is distracted while the audience can hear an explanation. Oh, well, Onyx isn't sneaking around. Onyx is sneaking around the walls to find the missing page in Bartok's study. He leaves the mirror ritual to go into the walls. I did not reach out to Gerard Way's people. I reached out to a friend who knows Gerard Way, and they did not feel comfortable taking him to the project. Oh, QAB Anime, I'm fine. I mean, I just have a headache. Then he ends up in that room. They hand him the stone and say, destroy something you love, and he immediately shows the stone. Easy. Yeah, but the whole idea, though, is that he's left the mirror ritual to sneak into the walls. So that wouldn't work, but I appreciate your input. But he leaves the mirror ritual to sneak into the walls. What up, Jason Charles Miller? You know, Jason Charles Miller, I'm so glad you're in chat because I was just today, I moved the theme song like to an external hard drive and I literally can't find it. And I went back to the Dropbox link and I think it had expired or had been moved. Is there any way you would just mind sending me like an MP3 of our song again? Just emailing it to me. Sorry, I know that's not why you're in chat, but I like listening to the song to get me stoked while I'm working on stuff, and especially while I'm doing rewrites. When I'm working on the script, I like blasting the Talisman of Souls theme song. Jack Whitehall. I don't know if I know who Jack Whitehall is. Jack Whitehall. Oh, he's the dude from, I don't know him from anything, but I'll be watching Jungle Cruise tonight, so I guess I'll see him in Jungle Cruise. Thank you, Jason Charles Miller. I'm so sorry. Kung Fury. Oh, you know, it's chill. It's funny. Okay. Oh, director commentary? Yeah. For sure. So, the Ghostbusters trailer. Okay. I don't have a judgment on the film. I have a question. Can you do a direct sequel to a film and move it entirely into a new tone? Doesn't tone technically inform genre? So the new trailer is a cool trailer for a spooky, dramatic movie, kind of in the like Amblin world, but that's not what Ghostbusters was. I don't necessarily have a problem with the changing tone, but can you do that? I mean, you know, movies exist in different genres, thereby existing in different worlds, you know? A historical drama doesn't take place in the same world that Fright Night takes place in. So to open the Ghostbusters trailer with, you'd consider there to be a tone shift between Mad Max and Road Warrior? I don't think so. I think there's a style shift. I think they're shot differently, but I still feel like they're in the same world. I guess the new trailer had the vibes of an internet recut that would have the title Fresh Prince of Bel-Air rebooted as a drama. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different processing of the same premise. It's just odd to me. I don't know that it will be bad or good. I definitely don't know if comedy is going to be. I mean, I think you got to know right now it's not going to be foremost a comedy because it's not. You're going to have funny stuff from Paul Rudd every now and again, but the opening line of the trailer is, "You're a good mom." I don't know. Am I? Carrie Coon is a fucking amazing actor, but the movie's primary concern will not be comedy. Mad Max is in a very different part of the world than one, and by the time you get to 4, the world of 1 is long gone. Do you think genre can be avoided much? I often wonder this about music and some of my own writing projects. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, Ray, I've looked up some stuff from Reitman, and part of me thinks that maybe this trailer was just meant to set a tone for audiences, make them feel like they're in that Stranger Things vibe, but that then the actual movie will be more of a party. But I guess, Craig, what my question would be, well, I don't think there's difference in, okay. I think you might be misunderstanding what I mean by tone. Yeah, the tone of Blair Witch 2 is like the tone of like a kind of campy, shitty movie. I get it, but it doesn't like jump entirely into a different reality. I think the Blair Witches still feel like they're in the same reality. What I'm saying is the original Ghostbusters had a joke about Dan Aykroyd getting a blowjob from a ghost. Do you know what I mean? It had a song in the middle of it that was like, it's like they're completely different realities. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm literally wondering, is it possible? And you could argue that over time, the Halloween franchise or Friday the 13th, even Nightmare on Elm Street, like went into a different tone. But that's over the course of like 6-7 movies. What I don't understand. Oh, so Slacker, that's a good example. That's a good example. But, and this brings me to my next point. To take it from grounded to absurd is usually the direction a lot of these things evolve, especially over the course of a horror franchise, right? All of them. Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play. They've all go to the absurd. But Ghostbusters is looking to reverse that evolution and go from absurd down to grounded. And I wonder if that's possible. Can you imagine Ray Stantz in this reality when it was like last time they were all just goofing? Yeah, and Nate, I listened to Reitman talk about, well, every Bond, that's an entirely different beast. Bond is a serial, it sounds like I'm making excuses, but also there's like how many Bond movies? What I'm talking about is in this reality, there are only going to have been 3 Ghostbusters because 2016 is supposedly not a part of this reality. So you're talking about Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, Party, Stranger Things, Somber Zone. And the weird thing is Stranger Things now is Goof Trooping. Season 3 was like a Peter Sellers movie, We're dressed like Russians, but our suits are too long. Let's sing Neverending Story. So that went full Glee by season 3. What I'm talking about is, can you take an absurd thing and then in 2 movies, take it down to a completely different tone, build out a completely different reality? And yes, Nate, Reitman talked about it. He was like, well, I think it's like the Ghost Uprising in the 80s was, it's like a lot of kids don't remember what happened in the 80s. And I'm like, yeah, but they probably remember ghosts, right? Ghosts were flying out of subways. And you can't remove Ghostbusters 2. The Titanic showed up, dudes. Like, but again, Slacker, those are not direct sequels. Those don't count. It's not, you went from Joel Schumacher's Batman, and then the next one was Val Kilmer as Batman, directed by Christopher Nolan. Do you know what I mean? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Ghostbusters 2 having the Statue of Liberty come to life, and Ghostbusters 3 being a seemingly somber tale about the importance of family and reconnecting with legacy. I don't know how they're going to make that jump. No, I still think I think all the Jurassic World movies are attempting to be in the same tone. Yeah, but Evil Dead, again, it goes toward the absurd. It starts grounded, and then there's all these layers of absurdity that get added. That's a more natural progression. I mean, at least in my mind. Doesn't it seem odd to go from sketch comedy logic to the logic we were shown in the new Ghostbusters trailer? I'm dwelling on a 2-minute trailer because I like talking about stuff. I mean, this is all I do. So I'll talk about a 2-minute trailer until the fucking sun goes down. Rocky, that's interesting. Rocky, yeah. Rocky. Well, I would say I'm overthinking. This is exactly what informs everything I do in life. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Me overthinking the Ghostbusters trailer is exactly like why I write this. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't remove that part of my brain and still get the engine that I have. Jason, maybe it'll work since the original audience is now older and more grounded themselves. Well, that's possible too. Like maybe it's the fact that tone can't exist anymore. That is gone with the 80s. Maybe it's impossible to get back in that pocket. Yeah, that's totally possible. It might just not be. It's almost like the doors to that tone have closed. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's interesting for me that, like, I'm excited for the Ghostbusters movie for sure. Just wondering how it'll all work out. Yeah. Trevor's went from horror to comedy in 2 movies. Yeah, but again, that's the path that I'm talking about that always happens. Yeah, you can't have Dan Aykroyd getting a BJ from a ghost. And arguably, the 2016 was an attempt at the original tone. That's the modern farce comedy tone, Paul Feig and those performers. So that was the attempt. So I get that the new one is a different approach to tone. I'm just saying, can that work? Can you pull characters out of that tone and put them in a world where they're going to have to be like, I'm too old for this shit. And it's going to be more serious, you know? I'm not saying whether or not the 2016 was good. I'm just saying that it was in the same tone. When you're talking about tone as, for me, when I talk about tone, I'm talking about what's real, what has consequence, what has stakes. You know, in the Onyx movie, if somebody is stabbed, there is concern. It's not just blood sprays on their face and they go, so I get it, boink. And then they, for some reason, forget that there's been a death. You know what I mean? Plenty of other horror comedies, they operate in the world of, oh, fuck, someone's head just blew up. But let's continue on our mission. Those tone differences inform like entirely different logic structures to the world. You know, so that's all I'm investigating by overthinking the Ghostbusters trailer. It'll be interesting. It all may totally work because the trailer worked for me. I was like, okay, let me see that little ghost trap on them RC car wheels. I fuck with it, you know. Oh yeah, there'll be a trailer for the Onyx movie for sure. If whoever distributes it markets it. Hey, if not, I'll be cutting a trailer for it and putting it on my YouTube channel. All right. Again, Batman's not a good example because Batman, you can consider it to be serialized. They are not direct continuations. Take the Nolan Batmans and you can argue they stay in the same tone. You can take the Burton Batmans and you can argue they stay in the same tone. You can take the Schumacher Batmans and you can argue they stay in the same tone. Because it even feels weird in the Ghostbusters trailer for them to be looking at those commercials they made. Because those commercials were made like it out of a joke reality in the 80s movie. But they're looking at them like they're real commercials from the 80s. That's when it started to clash for me. You have these people that have been presented as completely grounded and real, and then they're sitting down and they're watching what's basically a Fire Marshal Bill sketch and having the reaction, so that's my uncle? My uncle was Bill, the Fire Marshal? Wow, I wish I knew him. And then on screen, it's like, let me tell you something. You get what I'm saying now? There's a collision there, tonally. There's a collision there. Okay. I've probably talked about that as much as I can talk about it. I'm hoping I can talk about Cast next week. August has got to cook for us. August has got to cook. We've got to know what the COVID plan is. We've got to have the cast. We got to know their rates. We got to cook in August. Got to cook in August. That's all I can say. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Remy Boy ran back under the couch, but just so everybody knows, he has been sleeping out here in his bed the entire time because he loves me. All right. I'll talk to everybody. Oh, putting up that update earlier in the week went really well. People were really stoked to see the creatures, and it reminded me that not everybody's inside my head getting all of the updates the moment I get them. I made that update video. Oh, thank you, Jason. I don't know why I always feel led to say your full name, Jason Charles Miller. Thank you, JCM. I sat down to make that update video, and I was like, I don't even have anything to update people on. I guess I'll just update them on this. And it was all this stuff. And everybody was like, fuck, we're fucking stoked. And I'm like, right. I forget that people aren't with me as I'm getting these texts and images. So I've got to start doing more updates where I'm showing people the progress. The stuff from Nate, the painting from Lucas that I have for the fortuitous one. We've got so much stuff cooking. And I'm going to start trying to show it off more consistently. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Ghostbusters Afterlife might be tight.